All right, everybody. Ooh, I'm still in season 3 of the Girl UpRising podcast, but the guest that I have today, she needs to talk to y'all, and she attempted, or we attempted to talk to y'all maybe like a month ago, but that recording did not record, so we're here again. We're definitely recording. We checked and checked again. So now we have her on the podcast, and I want to tell you why I was like, I have to get her on the podcast before she even introduces herself. So when it comes to money, I feel like money is something that we all need, yet a lot of us don't know about it or how to grow it for our personal use. So I'm always fascinated when someone is like, I study this. This is what I do. I'm like, you need to tell us, you need to tell us. So without further ado, please introduce yourself to the people.
Yes. Hey, y'all. So my name is Tremaine Wills. I am a certified financial education instructor, former financial planner. We'll get into that
Hmm.
in a moment.
Hmm.
But I just love talking about money, and I'm
Yes.
so excited to have this conversation today. Um, Fresh perspective. It's like we got a middle of the year reset, just
Mm.
an opportunity to do the things.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So why does money excite you or teaching others about how to manage money? Why?
Um, Dang, we just diving into the loaded questions. First thing, right? Um, So I think it excites me because it gives us an opportunity to really reshape how our relationship with money is
Mm.
and to examine the hold that it may or may not have over us.
Mhm.
Because what I've been finding over these years, and I've been in this space for, oh Lord, I ain't gonna tell y'all because then y'all gonna try to guess how old I am.
Tell
But
us. Tell us.
since
Tell us.
2012,
Okay.
I've been doing this since 2012.
Mm.
And over the years, I've noticed like this pattern where a lot of us are actually afraid of money. And it's
Mm.
not because, we can't be wealthy. A lot
Mm.
of it is from lack of understanding.
Mm.
And when we don't understand something, we become fearful of it.
Mm.
So, teaching people about money helps remove this mysticism
Mm.
around it and lets us become confident around managing it better, around using money as a tool so that we
Mm.
can accomplish the goals we want to reach. Um, and really just not feeling like a slave to the jobs that we have because we feel like we got to work in order to pay bills.
Mm.
So I think like when you wrap all those things together, that's what gets
Mhm.
me excited because it's financial education is a form of freedom.
Mm.
And so that's what I see when I see me teaching. It's like, oh, I'm showing people another path
Mm.
to really define freedom and achieve it for
Mm.
themselves.
Okay. That's a good answer. Now, I know you didn't want to say the year that you started, 2012. But 2012, did you start, were you working a corporate position or were you working for yourself? Like how did that look in 2012?
Yeah, so I was fresh out of grad school. I went to Hampton University.
Ooh, ooh.
And I came out of Hampton looking for the job that was going to pay me the most money,
Mm.
right? But also where I felt like I had room to really grow and learn more than what my degree taught me.
Mm.
And I started a career in financial services. My official title was financial specialist, but essentially my job was to convince the bank clients to become investment clients
Mm.
and steal them from other firms,
Mm.
right? And so um there was a lot of information gap that had to be overcome because
Mm.
I ain't know nothing about no investments.
Mm.
Right? We had like our basic information that we kind of learned in the one or two classes I took at Hampton, but
Mhm.
as far as firsthand knowledge about investing and what an index fund is and all this stuff,
Mhm.
I did not know.
Mm.
Right? And so there definitely was some insecurity there going into this space, is because I don't come from money. We didn't
Mm.
talk about money. I really didn't know much about it.
Mhm.
But part of me just knew that if I were to really try and build wealth, I had to learn about it.
Yeah.
And now I'm connecting. That's why I like teaching it now, 'cause that's where some of that confidence came from for myself, was learning and
Yeah.
filling in those gaps. So
Mm.
I worked for a Fortune 500 company when I was first starting, and I was like, yeah, they're not talking about this in my community. I got to
Hmm.
go back and teach.
Hmm. You know what? I think a lot of times entrepreneurs start their business because they get to a point where they're enlightened and they're
Mhm.
like, I I gotta tell somebody like about
Yeah.
this. I have to make sure that, you know, either people under me or just people in my community don't have to jump through so many hurdles to be in the know. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mhm.
So it's good that you saw it like that and didn't try to gatekeep and say, I know this, I ain't teaching nobody else, you know? Like,
Yeah, and I think, like, being able to teach something is proof of your own understanding of it too,
mm,
right? Because if you can dissect it and spit it back out
mhm.
in language that makes sense to somebody else, then you actually do know what you're talking
Definitely.
about, right? So I think for me, that's like,
Mm,
okay, if I can explain this back, then I actually know what it is, and it's
mhm,
not just, faking it till you make it, right?
hmm.
So, but yeah.
Okay, okay. Your your business, right? Your business that you have. Tell us more about your business, the name, the services that you offer, the courses
Mm.
or webinars, trainings, whatever. Tell us a little bit about what services you provide.
Yeah, so the name of my company is called Mind Over Money. I actually have several different entities
Mhm.
that kind of hover around financial services, financial education, providing insurance, different things like that. But the core of what I do is helping people manage their money better, whether it's through getting a financial plan or getting assistance with taxes. I was doing bookkeeping and accounting at one point, because what I learned is I'm really great at developing relationships
Hmm.
and making people feel safe um, around things related to finances, which is a huge deal for a lot of us. There's some insecurity there, and you got to be very careful who you get guidance from so that they don't make you feel worse than
Mm.
you already do, right? And so, um, what happened was I initially started and I was just teaching workshops, right, in the community.
Mhm.
I started at Doors Miller. I was hosting, these small 5 to 15 person workshops, and I was like so fulfilled.
Aw.
But very quickly, I realized that people was not excited to come to financial literacy workshops,
Mm. Mhm.
and I got resentful. I was like, I got all this good information. Where is y'all at, right?
Where you
And
at?
I quickly realized that financial literacy education
Mm.
on a localized level is not as profitable as delivering financial services.
Hmm.
And so I expanded my business to start to
Okay.
offer the services, right? And so that's how I kind of grew in scale to offering investment advice, financial planning, all the things, right?
Mm.
But you know how when you start chasing money, you start falling out of alignment.
Mm.
And that's what happened. And
Okay.
so the services side of my business grew and scaled past 6 figures. And it was nice, right?
Hello.
We got
Right.
the money coming in. And the education part of the business, where I was
Mhm.
teaching workshops and speaking and doing courses and workshops, it was, it's falling to the wayside because
Mhm.
it's not as profitable, right? We
Yeah.
like the we like the stuff that's sexy, the stuff that's paying us the coins,
Mhm. The
right? It
money.
comes with the, what I want to say. There's just more prestige when you tell somebody you're a investment advisor than if
Yeah.
you say I'm a financial educator,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think some of that is what drew me down this lane where
Mm.
I knew I wasn't supposed to be, but the coins was calling me,
Mm.
right? And so that's how that business kind of grew in scale.
Hmm.
And so when I did my intro earlier, I said former financial planner because I actually just sunset that business today.
Mm. Today?
Today.
Well, congrats.
today. So,
Wow.
yeah, I'm shifting back to being the educator,
Mm,
teaching and focusing on making sure people have access to quality
mm.
information. Because I don't know if y'all see some of this stuff on TikTok and Instagram where people just be saying stuff. And I'm like, that is not accurate information. That is very bad advice.
Yes.
And what? So, the goal is to really just be a credible
Mm.
light, wealth
Mhm.
of knowledge to really help people with practical information that moves the
Mhm.
needle. That's not sensationalism.
Yeah. I must say this. Okay. Like when it comes to TikTok, when it comes to just like social media in general, because anyone can open up their camera, open up their phone and get up there. And if they're likable, people will believe them. And a
Yeah.
lot of times it's like they won't go and fact check. They won't go and say, "Yeah, I like what they said, but let me see if this even applies to me." They're not going to take the time to like dissect information. So it's important that we have people on those platforms who are educated, certified, and who cares, right,
Yeah.
about the people so that we're not being left astray.
Yeah. It's the wild, wild west out there, man.
Mm,
And like you said, it can be very scary
mm.
because so many people are really good at marketing,
Yeah, yeah.
right? They can show up and smile and put on
Mhm,
the show. But
mhm,
then when you try to actually go implement what they
mhm.
say, folks
Yeah.
ending up in jail. It's like, but this TikTok person, it wasn't accurate information, friends.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you've made a change and you said that you were making changes in the beginning of our conversation,
Mhm.
but the change was done today. What made you say, "You know what? This is just not for me. I know that there's money in it, but it's not sitting right with me." Like what was that moment when you were just like, "This isn't for me?"
So it's been something I have been going back and forth with for a few years actually.
Okay.
Um, where I have the capacity to learn how to do pretty much anything,
Okay.
right? And so if I know I can figure something out and execute it well and it pays great, then
Mhm.
it's a service I'm going to add. And
Okay.
that's what was happening is like, oh, I
Mm.
can do this and I do it better than whoever,
Mm.
right? And I
Mhm.
already have the trust. It was
Mhm.
just a natural extension to add on more services.
Mhm.
But what had happened was,
Mm.
um, I started realizing that it was not scalable.
Mm.
And so there were so many people that wanted me to do all the things. And you can't build a business serving
Mm.
100 plus people and you are the one
Yeah.
doing everything.
Yep.
And I don't trust a lot of the people in financial services. And so it was hard to hire, it was
Mm.
hard to refer, and this weight just started sitting on me like I can't
Mm.
continue like this.
Yeah.
And so as much as I want to serve and I want to give, I was crumbling.
Mm.
And I had to make a decision where if I really want to serve, I have to
Mhm.
create a business that is actually in alignment with the life I want to live. And so this
Mhm.
is the stuff I teach,
Yeah.
right? I talk
Yeah.
to my clients about generating income and what do you want out of your life? And I say all this beautiful stuff.
Mhm.
And then I sat down and I looked at my own life and I said, oh, ma'am,
Are you following your own advice?
what are you doing? Right? And so, and as I mentioned earlier, like when you're making six figures,
Mhm.
you kind of almost can excuse certain things
Mhm.
for the sake of the money's coming in. But I
Mhm.
got to a point where I actually didn't care about how much money I was making because life didn't feel good
Mm.
the way it was, right? And so I was like, huh, now I see why people take pay cuts,
Mhm.
right? I
Mhm.
see why they choose a different path even
Mhm.
though the
Mhm.
money's flowing the way that they want it to. And
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, this isn't the life I want to build. So
Yeah.
I made a conscious decision that I was going to shut down what was not in alignment with
Mhm.
where I wanted to go and trust that the resources would come
Mm.
and replace
Mm.
the life I actually want to build.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's kind of how it shifted. It was like part of it was us as Black women, we have this desire to serve, to help other people, and we will look after ourselves last. And I was like, I'm not trying to be another statistic of a burnt out woman who is highly educated, great at caring for other people, but her own health
in the ground
is terrible, right? And so I recently started running my 5Ks every morning again. I was like, oh yes,
I know that's right.
We back in alignment. Okay. This is full circle transition.
I love that. I love that, and I'm proud of you. And because it takes a lot to stop something, especially if you know that you're good at it, right? If you are making a certain amount of money, it takes a lot to say, you know what, the money isn't worth like my peace. It's not worth it. And a lot of people get in situations and they get stuck, and they're just like, I'll deal with it. Whole time, stress, blood pressure, things happening that to your body, can't sleep, all of those symptoms of just being like overstimulated, not going down the path that you're supposed to go into, and you just push through it because it's what you've been doing. So for you to say like, no, I'm doing this, like that speaks volumes. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It was hard. It took years because there are so many great business women around me, and I see like, there was an easy path to a 7-figure business in financial services, right? Easy to get there. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I can do that. But then I thought about the level of stress compounding, and I was like, I don't want 7 figures this way. And so if that is the revenue milestone that is destined for me, it needs to come in a way that doesn't cause me to stress unnecessarily, that doesn't cause me to sacrifice sleep, that doesn't cause me to not be able to be in the community like I wanted to be. Like I had stopped coaching track for I guess 2 or 3 years. Because I was going to focus on my business. And the plan in my head, right, was to take those couple years, grow the business to 7 figures, and be able to donate all this money back to the program, right? And the 7 figures didn't come fast enough. And so here I am, not doing something I love for the sake of making more money. And I'm getting to a point now where like I can't run with the kids like I used to. Right? And so I'm missing out on all this time to really serve and show up the way I want to. And finally I was like, enough is enough. I'm going back to track practice. And I started showing back up, and I was like, yeah, this business. And that kind of is what really solidified it for me, was I don't want a life where I can't do the things I love and serve the way I want to serve. And what I'm doing right now is not it. So it has to change so that the things I want to do fit.
That's so fulfilling. Like that's just so like I know you're like I can breathe. Like I love that. So yeah, thank you for just letting us know like what's been going on as far as like the changes in your business and how that came to be. I think women need to hear that like it's okay if you get to a certain point that you've been working towards something, you're doing well at it, and it's just not for you anymore. It's okay to make that change. It's scary for a lot of people, and like I said, it's scary. Like like it's scary, but it's possible because clearly, like you've done it, you're doing it. In your business, though, and I'll say, I guess, like your newly revamped business as of like today, who's your audience? Who's your target?
Ooh. I think now I'm in a phase where I'm building something for the everyday person. Right?
Okay.
The folks who are tired of being tired, right? And you want something real, you want something actionable, you want something that's really going to work, that has already been done. and you need it from somebody that's relatable.
Hmm.
So typically when I'm creating content, I think about people who are somewhere on the journey where I have already been. Right? So, you know, maybe you don't come from wealth, or you made some money, but you had terrible financial habits, right? And you feel like you should have known better, but you still went shopping at TJ Maxx.
We did.
The credit card debt, right? And so I see a lot of my content speaking to, you know, women who are 25 to 45 that we know how to make the money, but we might not be so great at keeping it. And while we might be exceptional in our area of genius, there's some shame, guilt around managing money because part of us feels like we should know better.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's who I'm speaking to now is we were never designed to be the best at all things. And so we have to create this village, this community of trusted voices and kind of have like a board of advisors for different areas, right? So like now I have a personal trainer. And like I'm a former athlete, so I should know what to do, but just having somebody who their zone of genius is getting folks in shape and like that's what she does, like I'm gonna defer to you. I don't need to go figure out what exercises I have to do in order to get these belly fat. Listen. Right? And we can look at all the different pockets of our life like that, and we can be great in our zone and tap on advisors in other areas to kind of, you know, fill in the information gaps. So that's what I'm talking to. The folks who might naturally be inclined to be hyper independent, but when they come across somebody that's real, that is an expert, they can see that and they will trust what they say, right?
Are you talking to me? Oh God, I feel a little red. Listen, okay. Now I'm in therapy or whatever. I have a therapist. I love this lady. I'm like, where have you been? But she said something to me a while ago, and she was like, just because you can do things, that doesn't mean that you should. Like, just like what you're saying, you know, you hired a personal trainer. I recently did too, because I'm like, Chat GPT'd it, Google, TikTok, you know, I'm like, all of these things, and I still don't really know what I'm doing. You know, I go into the gym and do a little run on the treadmill, but that's not my thing. So it's okay to say, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me find somebody who does. I think a lot of us, especially Black women, are like that. Like it's kind of ingrained in us to like, oh, just do everything. Like be the best. And it's like, that's tiring.
Yes. Yeah.
That is tiring.
Yeah. And it sets us up for failure. Because, you know, there's only 24 hours in a day. And if you have to be an expert in whatever your vocation is, how you think you finna be an expert in all the other areas of life too, and still have a social life? Yeah. And still spend time with family and still take care of your mental health. Like, it's impossible. So, yeah, I think a lot of us, you know, and a lot of this has to do with society where we've been conditioned that we have to show up 2 times better and work 3 times as hard, and it carries over into how we navigate life, and it's not fair. We got to unlearn that.
Clearly. Yeah, clearly. Like, I know, and sometimes you don't see it like that, because I know I did, and I'm just like, I'm looking at it as I'm being resourceful. You know, it's just like, you know, if I can, like, why be lazy and not? You know, but like you said, it's not a good recipe for success like that. It's really, really not. Your target audience, right? The average person. They come to you and they say, all right, so I feel like I'm pretty good with my finances. Like I'm not late on anything. Credit scores, all right. I got a credit card or two. Um, I live comfortably, right? But they say I'm thinking about my future and I just want to make sure that I'm set up, for success. Like I'm not broke when I'm 60 or 55. What's your advice to them? Like, how do you get them going with you?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm excited because we're thinking about 55, 65, right? And a lot of us are not. We're just like in survival mode, going through the motions of right now.
Yeah.
But when you can get to a place where you start thinking about, I ain't trying to do this forever. What does it look like? What does it feel like to not have to work anymore? That's where you start to shift into a place where now you can start dreaming again, or maybe dreaming for the first time, and identifying the life you want to build. And the first thing I would say is we have to dream and we have to see where we want to go, figure out how much that's going to cost, and then put together a roadmap to get there. And it doesn't have to be this super complicated thing. So let's say, for example, right, you know that you're trying to retire at 50. And I'm going to speak that to everybody that's listening. It does not have to be 65, right? Retirement is not an age. Retirement is what your bank account and your assets say, right? And so at 50, you might decide that, okay, I want to take a vacation every quarter. I want to be able to donate, volunteer, and like do the things. And that's going to cost me $5,000 a month. And my mortgage is going to be paid off, right? And so just laying out what you want to happen and then figuring out what accounts do you need and what investments do you need to make that happen. And so that could look like, okay, well, I want my mortgage to be paid off. So in my strategy, how can I have my mortgage paid off by age 50? How much money is that going to cost? My strategy could be, okay, well, if I'm not working anymore, how much and how am I going to bring that $5,000 in a month without having to work? So that might be you have rental property and maybe you have, 5 to 10 doors. And when you add all of that money up and subtract the mortgage payments and the property management taxes, all of that stuff, maybe that's paying you $5,000 a month, right? From the real estate that you own. Or maybe it's money in your IRA or your 401k or whatever your retirement plan is. And you've put $500 in for 20 years and it got 8% return, right? And now every year you can take out $60,000 and it's still continuing to grow. But it's paying for that $5,000 a month lifestyle you want, right? So now we start to be able to finance the dream, and you can't plan for that until you know what the dream is. So I'm always going to go back to people and say, well, what do you want? Do you want a retirement where, you kind of just sitting on the porch, chilling in the rocking chair, looking at the cars go by? Because that's what, when I think of retired people, the ones that I know, they don't have much money left over after, immediate expenses. If they're relying on Social Security, there's not a lot. But that doesn't have to be your future if you plan for it now. So, I'm always going to go back to, well, what's the vision? And then from there, we create the roadmap.
Why do you think that some people are maybe like afraid to just even talk about like finances? Or maybe I'm using not using like the best word. They are just like a little apprehensive when it comes to talking about finances or planning for their future.
Because we have this societal like value placed on how much money you have, right? Your net worth, what assets, what material things do you own? And either consciously or subconsciously, many of us have reduced our self-worth to whatever that financial marker is. And if you don't feel like it is where you should be based on age or social status or whatever, right? You're not finna have this conversation out loud with nobody. Right? I'm not gonna tell you that I'm $100,000 in credit card debt and we got 2 mortgages on this house and like the outward appearance looks like flashy and it looks like life is great, but really underneath the financials are in shambles. Most people are not going to have that conversation, right? They want the appearance of wealth without actually being wealthy. And so because we don't want people to truly know what's going on, that might, reduce how people perceive us. There's a fear associated with being found out. And so we don't want to have these conversations. And so I think that we have to actively work against whatever in our brain is telling us that if you don't have X amount of dollars, or if your credit score isn't this, then you ain't worth nothing. Well, my good friend, you're a phenomenal educator.
Okay.
You are a fantastic mother.
Okay.
You are a great insert whatever. And so whatever your bank account say right now, that's just misalignment. Right? That's just not you accurately showing up in the financial space because you won't work with a professional.
Very good. See, I like that. I like that because I think it takes some of the we're so hard on ourselves. Yes. And if we're not doing something or we are lacking in a certain area, it doesn't mean that we're just gonna lack forever and ever and ever. It really could just be, like you said, just some misalignment. But you can get aligned.
You can.
You can get aligned.
And you know what's crazy is, like, on this journey, there were so many moments where I felt that myself. Even as a professional in this space, the head knowledge of what I knew I was supposed to do was not reflected in my bank accounts and my statement balances. And I felt a lot of unease about that. Like, how am I out here helping other people become millionaires, but where are my millions at? Right? And so I think that's why it's easier for me to have this conversation, because I get it. And it sometimes can feel like, well, if you're a professional in something, maybe that person can't relate because they don't understand what it's like to cash out a 401k and go ball out. I did it.
Okay.
Right? And so I think I have a deeper awareness and understanding of the real emotions that come with having these conversations, because this is not a me telling you what to do. This is I've lived this. This is what I did to fix it.
Yeah. What's your go-to advice, or like a good piece of advice you would give to people listening that may feel that they need to speak to somebody about their finances, but they don't know where to start?
I would say interview a couple different folks. Every financial professional has a different philosophy, a way that they approach managing money. And you have to have a conversation with somebody, feel their vibes out, and see if the way they communicate, the way they think, the values that they have are in alignment with what you believe and where you want to go. So that way, when they're giving you advice, there's congruence.
That's good.
Around where you're going, right? So, like, when I was doing financial plans and I would meet with people and they would tell me, they're interviewing a couple of folks, I'm like, great, right? Because while I think I'm the best, right? I'm not always the best for everybody, because there are some things that I value that I think are more important than what maybe other people believe. And so the advice I give may not be in alignment with what matches what you believe. And so when you have that misalignment of what advice someone is giving you and what you actually value, it's not going to work. And so I think that's what happens with a lot of us is society's telling you should be here by this age, and it's saying you need to save 30% of your income. But you care more about being able to pay for vacations for family and friends and eating really great food and whatever your things are. And so you really only want to save or invest 10%. Right? And so if what you value doesn't align with what the plan says, it's never going to work. And inside, you're going to feel this conflict because I know what I should be doing, but what I'm actually doing, it don't match. And so a good advisor is going to be able to have a conversation with you and say, okay, you can do this, but it comes at this cost. It's going to take you this much longer to pay off your debt. It's going to take you this much longer to be able to retire. And then it's on you to decide if it's worth it. Right? So I think like, yeah, you got to interview a couple people and find out, you know, do they have the same values that I have? Am I willing to make shifts based on what they advise? Because it's also what I believe in.
That was good. That was really good. That was good. Okay. So, if the people want to get in touch with you, tell them where they can go. If you have some courses coming up, tell the people about that.
Yeah. So I'm on social media. My handle is Tremaine Wills, literally everywhere.
Okay.
So you can find me there sharing content. I post about money and I post about running. So that's what my social media looks like now. But I am actually launching, it's called Breakthrough Money School, where I am teaching bite-sized content and then hosting virtual workshops. And so I have 3 workshops coming up this month. One is on budgeting that doesn't suck. So that's going to help folks create a budget where you don't have to sit down and meticulously map out, you know, everything you spent at DoorDash and all the things, right? Because I think sometimes we don't want to budget because we don't want to sit down and go line by line, right? So I'm gonna walk you through how you can budget without feeling like your bank account is yelling at you. And then the next workshop, all of these are in July. The next workshop is creating a debt payoff plan. And so I will walk folks through how I was able to pay off a whole bunch of credit card debt using this template and calculator that I created. And then the third one is investing 101. So teaching what it means to invest and how you can set up an automated system where you don't have to be afraid of the stock market. And so those are 3 workshops that I have coming up. And if you go to, I'll send you the link where you can sign up to attend. But all of this is going to be in the Breakthrough Money School, where it's real practical information that you can implement and execute right now. So I'm a teacher by nature. I believe in giving folks actionable things to do where you walk away with an outcome and not just some pie in the sky, you know, big ideas. Like, you're going to leave these workshops with a budget or a debt payoff plan or investment accounts open. So yeah, this is not for the folks who are just trying to sit aside and lurk. Like, nah, if you come to these workshops, you're working.
You better participate. Okay.
You are working, yes, right? You are participating. And so yeah, that's what we have coming up now. And I'm so excited.
Yes. Oh my God. Listen, I have to jump in one of them. Like, I find myself just being transparent, just kind of just, you know, I'll be on track, then jumping off the wagon, being off track, jumping off the wagon. But yeah, I'm going to have to jump in one of those.
Yeah, and honestly, that happens to a lot of us, right? Because it's like, when we sit down and we take the time to do the plan, if we are not deeply anchored in why we're doing it, life starts life, and you're like, give me this plan, right?
Yeah.
You go swipe, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so when we talk about the budgeting piece, I'm going to walk through that.
Okay.
I had a very bad swipe habit. Like, I was using retail therapy as my mechanism to deal with stuff.
Yes.
But, baby, that's not the answer. We need
that gets us in trouble. Goodness. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your information. All of Tremaine's information, all her social media handles will be in the description. And I'll also have the link to sign up for, what's the class called? Breakthrough Money School. Yes. So thank you so much, Tremaine. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you, girl.